you tell me when we're on. And will I be looking here or that?
Straight.
Right here.
Yeah, right there. Yep. Let's see. All right, so it should be streaming now, so we're good. We're
Okay.
going live. Yeah.
We're on live?
Yeah, we should be on live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hello? Are we on live?
Yeah, we're on live. This is
Okay,
different.
welcome back, Kenton. Welcome back to Kenton and Habiba.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Kenton lead. We're in a different location. As you can see, we're in the same location where he streamed last time. So it's a little different for me, completely different setup, you guys. And if you get on here live, say hi. Please let me know this is working. Let me know that you can hear us. Because, yeah, I totally feel a little out of element. Do you like the background? Kenton has this background. Is this the same background you had before?
No, it's different.
This is
I mean,
different?
it's in a similar area. It's,
Oh, where are we? We're in Greece?
Yeah, JNC. Yeah.
Okay,
see, here
so
you
I
go.
can see Ann Harridan is on. Good afternoon or good evening. Miss Taylor, Dancing Leaf is on. Hi, gang. Hi, gang. R. Hogan is on. Hello. So, yeah, we're playing around with technology. We have, what is this thing called, this camera?
It's just a video camera.
It's just a video camera.
Yeah,
So
streaming
usually,
camera.
by the way, we usually just use my phone. So can you see it? Yeah, usually we're literally just on my iPhone, which I have on a stand. So this is different. Kenton wanted to play with this. We'll see. But I think also last time he had a phone number, which I believe you guys can see on the screen. And I wanted to know whether was it something expensive, you know, because people are going to call and they want to know, will they be charged? Apparently, it's a 1-800 number. So in America, as far as I know, 1-800 numbers aren't expensive or don't cost you anything. But again, I'm not 100% sure.
Depends on your plan, but usually it's not. It's part of our costs of setting up. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have an 877 number. So if you want to give us a call, it's a live show. So we're answering calls, and if you see it on it, it's 877-762-4652. So
Cool. So last time you guys, Kenton held it down, right? I was supposed to be going to Florida. And I think if you watched my vlog, the later vlog, you saw that there was threat of a hurricane, so I never got to go to Florida. But I love a lot of your comments that came in. For example, I'm going to read some of them. Again, this was from last Friday. This was from Jacqueline Madu. Watch the replay. Great job, Kenton. It's nice to know that you are in my field of work. I guess you told him about working in healthcare, right? And she majored in health admin and understood all the terminology. Enjoys the work and work on the underwriting side. Keep up the good work. Okay. I'll just read one more. I'm enjoying your live stream, Kenton. You are really holding it down. I love your family, beautiful family. It's like a storybook waiting for the next chapter. Your schooling, your graduation, as well as your kids going to school. Oh, wow. This is a long response
it's nice.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
which is really nice, but I'm not going to read it all here.
yeah.
But anyway, overall, everyone was saying, hey, Kenton held it down. Kenton held it down. So see, you can hold it down. You don't need me to be here.
No, because you add that little extra uncertainty.
Extra craziness, right?
Yeah,
You guys?
some
The
little extra spice. Yeah.
So there was a comment or a question here, and that's what I'm going to look for so that we can answer that. Because most of them were just saying how well done he was, but there was one question that I thought you would be interesting to answer. Let me see. Oh, okay, here it is. Here it is. And we want a real complete answer, Kenton. Kenton, you hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
If Habiba was Black American, would you have approached her in college? If Habiba was Black American, would you have approached her in college? Question mark. I never seen, and this is from, actually, you know what? It doesn't matter who it's from, but I will say, she says, I never seen a Vietnamese man with a Black woman here in Houston. She lives in Houston. She's never seen a Vietnamese man with a Black woman. She says the lady that does her nails, she is half Black and Vietnamese. Her mother met her father during the Vietnam War. I
Yeah.
guess she felt like she needed to add that. But the original question is, Kenton, if Habiba was Black American, would you have approached her in college?
Yeah. Yes, I would.
Right.
Because you're still a Biba. I mean,
But would I, do we consider me Black American? I guess.
you're in the South, they consider you black first.
Well,
and
yeah,
then,
of
yeah,
course.
But the point is, you're still. I mean, again, it's that binary. So,
Mm-hmm.
again, it goes into the deeper. There's a lot of layers to it.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So first of all, if you were Black American, would I be attracted? Look, I've said it before, and I've said it, you know, and. I mean, Black women are beautiful. I mean, so really, when you say Black American, Black as in the melanin. I mean, Black women are beautiful. Then it's the culture, right? So you have American, you have African, you have Caribbean. So all those different flavors,
Right.
are there. So I mean, so the question is that is do I distinguish between that? No. I mean, I think it really comes down to the person and the values. So that's what I'm saying. When I say a Biba still a Biba, yeah, of course you would have the African American experience and those things, but your value set is still you, because that's part of who you are. Your identity would be different as an African American because
Right.
of those
Because I would
things.
argue, if I had grown up here my entire life in America, I don't think I would be the same Habiba. And so, yes, I definitely identify with being Black, but I feel like I identify strongly with being an immigrant Black person who has, Caribbean and very strong African roots. So,
Sure.
on one hand, I do, see myself as Black, but I definitely feel like culturally, I'm a little bit different than, say, African Americans that have been born and
Yeah,
raised in
absolutely.
America.
Yeah.
And therefore, I feel like I would be different.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Your
So-
identity would be different,
right.
And how it affects your values and stuff. Again,
Mm-hmm.
that's speculative. But again, assuming all things the same, your mother
Right.
raised you the same way.
Right.
See what I'm saying is there would be a different flavor,
Right.
right? But if I again, falling in love with you, I think that the whole thing is really comes down to is like when she makes reference to Asian men. So again, this is the thing.
Right.
If
Like,
you look
why
at,
isn't Asian men, going
Yeah.
to the question,
Yeah.
why don't Asian men date Black women in general?
I don't
if
know.
that's
I don't,
the thing,
I don't know. At the last
according
meeting,
to this person.
At the last meeting we had, when we were discussing this, I don't know. I mean, we don't do. I mean, it's the same way when you ask, like when a Black person is being queried by the dominant group, i.e., white people, to
in America.
to talk about what's going on in the Black community. I mean, it's like, hey, it's going to vary based upon
Right.
system. It's,
Not every Asian person can
well, it's
speak
not a
for every
monolith.
Asian.
Exactly. Just like
all the
every
Asians.
Black. I mean, not every Black person can speak for every Black experience.
Right.
I mean, there are some common themes though that are very recurrent in it, especially in particular areas like the South or
Right.
whatever. And there are very much common experiences. But again, it's not going to say that one speaks for everyone. I mean, that's part of
However,
that
isn't it a
assumption.
fact that in terms of combinations, that is the smallest percentage in terms of
Interracial.
interracial
Oh,
couples?
absolutely. Yeah,
You
yeah,
have,
that's-
Black men with white women,
That's the
or
dominant,
Black
is that-
women with white men.
Yeah.
But it's a very small percentage of Black women with Asian men.
Yeah, it's less than 3% or even fewer than that. So,
Right.
And I can't speak to exactly. There's a whole variety of different reasons. Well, one is that interesting enough, they corn again. This is a number of years ago, 5-6 years ago, but Black women tend to be actually much more loyal in a sense, using that word, loyal to stay within their race. Again, race being a social construct, but more of an affinity towards other black men or men of color. You know, so whereas again, Asian men. Again, there's that. I think there's just a whole variety of different reasons. Again, some of it is cultural. I mean, just be quite frank. I mean, my mother had, some challenges in regards to that. There's that initial piece of that.
Right, basically racism. Let's say racism.
Yeah,
the word is right.
Prejudice, bias.
Prejudice.
I mean, yeah.
There's a lot of that
there's
in
a lot of
the
that
Asian
in Asian
community,
culture,
in America at least.
In America, no,
Right.
in Asia in general. I
Right.
mean, especially towards because again, you have Asians that are, Muslim. You have Asians that are of a darker skin color. And so you're going to get all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that racism and prejudice is it's rampant all over. So we see that.
I do feel like a lot of Asian Americans are sort of raised or aspire to be, in general, with white Americans. I mean, that seems to be more the norm. If they're not with their own, they're definitely, you get a sense that they're raised to aspire to be with white Americans, more so like the idea of being with a darker skinned person or a black person is definitely not something encouraged or the norm at all.
Yeah, I'd probably say that.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think there's a level of that type of issue
Right.
in regards to that. And in many ways, in some aspects of black culture, you have the light skin, dark skin, issue.
Right.
And again, this also just points to how racism and prejudice is such a poison.
Yeah,
instead of
honestly,
looking
it
at the
is.
person for the person,
Right.
we fixate on, and the honest truth is that if it's the type of individual that's going to think about those things like that, that's not a person you want to,
Well,
invest
I mean,
your
it's
life
it's
with.
it's impossible not to think about race, especially if you live in
In
this
America,
country.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
impossible.
No, exactly.
I mean, as if you're aware. But yeah, to base all your decisions when it comes to dating, on just that one issue, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, again, this is the thing: is that it's not about being colorblind, because
Right.
it's not saying, "Oh, I don't see it," because then you don't see the other person's identity. It's how you evaluate it and put valuation on it. That's the problem.
Right.
It's that, instead of saying, "Oh, I see a black woman," and celebrate, or black man, or any culture, and celebrate their uniqueness and their value and what they bring, and just the uniqueness of the individual. Instead, you're
Right.
sitting there going like, that person is less than, or that person. And in many ways, it also comes down to just a sense of being threatened by difference.
Right.
And that's really, it comes down to, as many times it's a reaction to a difference, and instead of embracing it, you're frightened by it, and then you react against it. So,
Right.
but
So-
again, I think also part of it is that it's changing, because again, you'll start seeing more and more,
Right.
because again, as people start, and I have some hope with the younger generation, because you see interracial couples are now moving towards, greater acceptance.
Right, and I think like our children's generation, the issue of
Yeah.
race is less
Well,
of
yeah.
a hindrance.
But I think
in
too, it's also
choosing partners.
but it's also just science. See, the thing too is, like, when you start doing like the 23andMe, you start seeing that there's no pure race. You start seeing that people are like mixed, and those are sitting
Right.
there going like, oh, we're white, we're proud, and you find out, wait a minute, they got
Right.
20%, West Caribbean.
Let me
or-
read what Miss Hogan says. Asians tend to prefer white people, but there are plenty of Asian black couples out there. Media doesn't show them much.
Right.
True, very true. Very true.
yeah.
And I'm even wondering, even in this group, or on people that watch us here, if there are any that are in interracial relationships. Maybe it's not a black Asian thing. Maybe it's a white black. Maybe it's just a different religion. Yeah, because even that can create, interesting relationships or differences, if you will.
Oh yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. People are complex, and they have a variety of different different backgrounds.
Hi, everyone. Amandine Faith.
Yeah,
Hi.
and those things are going to cause conflict. So it's
Right.
not just see again, because again you have interfaith challenges. You didn't have just challenges in just how you raise kids, how you
Right.
discipline them, educational values, stuff like that. So,
Right.
I mean, there's all those things. That's what makes relationships and family, can be very challenging. And so, I think one of the key is self-awareness. And I think that's really what it is, because that if you don't have a good sense of who you are, and it's always progressing. I mean, it's not like someone arrives to some level of nirvana and stuff, but at least you have a sense of questioning, like why
Right.
is this and why is that, and you're not stuck, and that you're choosing to be with someone. Also, the other thing too is that you're choosing to be with someone because of respect, not because you're fetishizing that person. Meaning
Right.
that I like, say for example, black women, but I objectify them as sexual objects instead of I respect them as out of as queens,
So
as
I'm not a sexual object?
here we go. So this is what I'm saying. Last week.
I would like to consider myself somewhat
Well, I mean,
sexual.
no. I'm not saying like. What I'm trying to say is
What you
that
trying to
I'm trying to
say,
see you as a
Kenton?
whole person.
Okay.
Whereas if you fetishize or objectify someone,
Uh-huh.
you reduce them down to a specific element for whatever personal reason, a need. So in
Okay.
objectification.
So when you
just
first
good.
met me and you were looking at my butt, that wasn't fetishizing and
No,
sexualizing.
fetishizing is where I only see your butt.
Uh-huh.
Okay, when I first met you, I saw all of you,
Yeah, okay.
including
Really?
your butt.
Right. Right.
So that's just again, that's just like the initial, like, whoa, that's someone very interesting. But then as I got to know you, then I fell in love with you for who you are, and I got to know you, and then over time, it gets
Okay.
deeper and deeper.
R. Hogan again says, still hard to believe that colorism is a thing. Even kids don't engage in that stuff.
That's right. And so, because again, initially they don't, but then they start learning those things, those things, through school, and through their parents, through their home. Because
Right.
that's the thing, they pick it up. They go, they make friends, they tell their parents, hey, I made friend with Billy, Bobby, whatever. And then the parents go, oh, who are they? Oh, they're this. And then they can see the reaction on their parents' face. If it's acceptance, if it's a frown, if it's like, well, you better be careful. They also hear, the side remarks, the jokes, the stuff. And they notice everything. That's one thing about children is that they see, they're sponges. They see, and they're
Oh,
always
absolutely.
questioning why. Yeah.
Right. Talking about children, by the way, Mariam got her first job, our daughter, the youngest. She's working. She has her first job, so I'm pretty excited about that. As parents, you might realize that we're very protective to a certain degree, like most parents, but I think many people think that we're extra protective. Things like, oh, your children don't drive, you take them everywhere, stuff like that. But I was definitely very strong in terms of feeling like she's at an age where she should go out. Yes, she doesn't need to work for money, but I think it's very important that she work for life experience and being able to mix with peers, her own group, and being able to socialize is the right word I'm looking for. So it's so interesting to me, all these unintended consequences when you push your children out there to go out into the world, especially now that the pandemic, not to say that the pandemic is over, it's definitely not over, but here in North Carolina, things are definitely a lot more relaxed, and I personally am not seeing people as sick as they have been in the last few years, so we're feeling more comfortable with, them being out there. But anyway, Kenton, what do you feel about our daughter being out there working? And maybe you could tell us about some of your early jobs and when you guys started working, or what is the ideal age to start working, if there's an ideal age?
I think the ideal age is what is the child's, or a young person's.
Right, because she's not a child. I mean, she's
Yeah.
20. She darn 20.
Yeah, exactly. Young person. I think it's just the opportunity and when it can, and but I think work is important to
Right.
develop that sense of responsibility, and it's also it creates self pride to say, hey, I have I'm able to generate something that's my own. I can buy my own things. It's all part of that.
And learning a
So
new skill, like she's
yeah,
learning. It's a pizza store, by the way. Nothing like extravagant. Pretty regular job at a pizza store. So she's learning to use the cashier
yeah, it's
machine,
forward facing.
learning
So
to
deal with
deal with
customers. Yeah,
customers,
that's
and
what I'm
it's so
saying.
funny. Some of her comments, even though she won't let me film it and show you, but some of her comments are always so funny, or her reactions to
Yeah.
people and
But I think it gives you also greater appreciation of service work, and
right.
I think that's what's important. It's like everyone has important work to do, and we need to value everyone's. I think that it's I think it's to get away from some of that elitism. I mean, I always tell one of the things is that you want to know how someone is going to be, especially if you go out and date someone. Like say if you're meeting someone, you say, how do I know if this is the person? See how they treat those that are in the
Yeah, I
service
moved this
industry.
closer to you.
Yeah, see how you treat someone that's in the service industry.
Right.
Because if it's one thing is to be nice to someone in front of you, but see how they treat the waiter, waitress, the concierge.
Right.
Basically the so-called what they the help.
Right.
But see, that's how you tell what kind of person is this the kind of person. Because again, I remember how the owner, president of Bolova, when he came to New York City, and
Boulevard, that's the jewelry company.
and he was courteous to everyone, and that was the thing, and everyone, it was well known. I mean, and it wasn't like this put on like, oh, I am, hello, please, kiss the ring kind of person. He would talk, he would stop, kind of like Keanu Reeves. It was like, I don't know why I always bring up when I met Keanu Reeves, but he was just the nicest. I mean, just like
And
you,
for those that don't know, Keanu Reeves is the American actor who's been in so many
everything,
famous
John
movies.
Wick and everything.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, he came out, and I was I was on break, and I was out in front of the hotel, and he came out, and I mean, he just said hello. He was just the nicest guy. And you're just like, wow,
Very
there was
low
no
key.
low key, but not pretentious. I mean, you just really genuine. You can tell when you meet someone in like 5-10 seconds. Really, literally, it doesn't take long. They just give you the vibes that they're just good hearted, decent people, and that's how you can tell. It's like versus someone that's just a snob or just
Right.
you know.
Let me see. Monica Pascal says, hi. Yes, it depends on the child. I had a Saturday job at 17, but my sister, who was a year older, wasn't interested. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think
You have to move
definitely.
it.
Oh, I don't need to keep moving
No,
it.
because
Okay.
you speak very.
I speak very loud, don't I?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think 17 definitely is a good age, even younger. I was talking to my mom about her working history, and she said she had started her first job at 16. And so I think, yeah, that's a good age too. It also depends on the environment and if jobs are accessible, because I know some people live in countries where there really aren't jobs for young people, like there are here. Like for myself, I mean, in Nigeria, I didn't work in terms of, well, I got here at 16. And so the first opportunity I did get to work, I did get a job at a daycare. What was your first job, Kenton?
Well, I had a couple. I mean, my first job, I think I was about, I think around 11, 12. I was a paper route.
Wow, 11, 12, that's pretty young.
Yeah, it was a paper route. So I woke up early, 4:30, 5 in the morning, did my paper route, went to school. I did that a little bit, and then I did like lawn work. I did just little odd things, and then I guess first hiring job I did when I was about 15 and a half, 16. Yeah, because then that's I guess that's my that I worked in a fish store,
Okay.
tropical fish, so I did that for a little bit, and then when you're young, fast food, all that kind of stuff,
Right.
restaurants,
Right.
Donut shop,
Wow.
a server, pizza shop.
Right.
Then I did sales, sold cars.
Kenton has had 1,000,001 jobs, you guys, through the course of even our relationship.
Yeah.
Basically, everyone that knows him knows that I guess he'll do what he has to do. He did what he had to do. And some of the interesting jobs I'm going to throw out there that Kenton has done is he's driven dead bodies. This is before I went to med school, so that kind of stuff used to freak me out. He'd come pick me up from work. This is in California, and he'd have a van where dead bodies were.
Well, so look,
That's
it wasn't
one.
like look. So I mean, yeah. So yeah, I did for just a short time. I just did, basically like the fur. It was very respectful. It was for funeral homes, and so you had to pick up the deceased.
Right.
So it's the deceased. It's not
Well, I'm trying to
dead
talk
body,
like a
yeah.
regular person.
Right,
and at
right.
an age where I
Yeah.
felt completely freaked out.
So it was it was the deceased, and then we would transport them to the funeral home that is where their wishes were and their family, and we would do that. So that's what it was. So.
All right. Then he's also had a job selling meat, which was very strange to me too. Because, yeah, I guess in general, I've had very few jobs because most of it is spent in training. But Kenton had some interesting jobs selling meat door to door. I don't think they do that anymore.
I don't know.
They don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that was hilarious. So yeah, of course that was in South Carolina, of
Right.
course, and then I would have a truck full of like frozen meat and stuff, and then I would go to these trailers, and then I would see, and I would basically have a spiel, and I would sell them, like tenderloin or bacon, steak wrapped in bacon, all the good healthy stuff that you would peddle.
Right.
And a case of beer franks and stuff like that. So
Right. Let me read this. Ayodele. Okay. Miss Ayodele says the nuns in my convent in Lagos sent me my first job teaching student nurses English in a village hospital.
yeah, that's
That's
fantastic.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's one thing I want to do. I have this like long bucket list of things I would like to try, or things that I would like to experience. And one thing is spending time in a convent or spending time with nuns.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I think that would do you some good.
I probably still say some crazy crap.
You know
there.
what happens is that you go
They
there,
probably
and the
kick
3
me
days
out.
later they'd be like, "Go in peace, my sister," and they send you out. That's what would happen.
But yeah, a convent is definitely a place I'd like to be.
But you can go. I mean, I think they might have
Seriously?
some that you can go and do a retreat at.
All right.
Yeah, you can go. I believe. I'm not. I know with Buddhist retreats they have them, but I assume because there are certain convents, for example, that take vows of private of not solitude, but of silence and stuff like that.
Right.
And they do offer. I know some of them are actually in Italy and stuff like that, but they might be some in Canada.
Okay.
But that they offer where you can go, and you spend a week or two
Right.
of silence.
Sure.
I would love to see you be able to do something like that
Be silent.
for a week. Mm-hmm.
Another thing I would like to do, and I've kind of had the opportunity, I just didn't take it, maybe because it wasn't in the way I wanted it, but I wanted to be able to go to a prison. I've never been into a jail or a prison before. I've taken care of prisoner patients,
Yeah.
but they usually were brought to the hospital or brought to a clinic. So it's outside of, the prison walls. And I've always wanted to see what it would be like. But then a lot of providers that have worked with inmates have always told me it wasn't a place you want to be and it can be dangerous and this and that. And I've had job offers to work in corrections, but I always felt like that's not the route I want to go. Like I don't actually want to go full time into corrections because that changes your career. But I would like to spend some time in the correction system just to see. I don't want to work for them, basically. That's one.
Yeah, I mean, but you can do those things if you want to as a volunteer, because again, especially in faith-based, because
Volunteer at a prison?
yeah, they do have that. They have ministries and stuff like that, and you might be able, either do that or even start your own and do a health.
What?
R. Hogan said, "No prison for me." Well, no, I mean it's not. You're absolutely right. I mean it's tough.
It's not for
tough.
everyone.
No, and
I've
it's tough.
definitely heard some horror stories.
But yeah, if you're looking at even a health ministry, but probably in a women's prison,
But like I said, it's not like I want to do that. It's just one of those things that I want to be able to go in. Just like I want to be able to do a spend the day in the life of with a prostitute. There's like all these types of people that I
Sure.
know that my life is very different from,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm very curious about, and I
Yeah.
wanted to, without judgment, just want to see what goes through their mind and what their life is really like.
Yeah.
Because you see some of these things on TV, but it's one thing to see it on TV and one thing to actually go with people to experience their
Yeah.
life.
Well, that might be something we can do as part of our show or part of our program because
Hey,
I
get
think
me
so.
in a prison or get me to hang out with a prostitute or a night walker, if that's what you want to call it. I'm totally game. Totally.
The,
What?
yeah,
What?
just the way you said it, it's just
what I say.
get me with a prostitute. I was just like,
Well,
I know what you're
mean.
trying to say. It's just the way you said it. I was just like, if someone was watching for the first time, they'd be like, "What?" I was like, "No."
Okay, I'm
I don't-
sorry, y'all.
No, but yeah, no. I think it's no. I think it is. I think it's like one of the things is understanding because I think that's part of it, especially in our criminal now from a criminal justice perspective.
Right.
Is that sometimes, we especially with women, we penalize them and we create a system that basically puts that on them. But the men that are soliciting their services do not get the same penalties as the women.
Oh,
You see what I'm
right,
saying?
right, yeah,
It's interesting.
yeah, sure.
The prison
Right.
time is different,
Right.
So
Let's see. I've often thought about volunteering for a women's homeless shelter. Okay, yeah, I have done that. I will say I can definitely cross that off my list. I have worked for a homeless shelter in the last place we Laurinburg.
yeah, you did that, and also
Yeah, I was also on their board.
you also did that in medical school.
And
Remember?
I did that in medical school. It was for men and women, and that was very satisfying because, again, most people think that, when you're dealing with a homeless person or when you're dealing with a prisoner, for example, which I've told you, I've taken care of prisoners, but they were brought into a clinic or brought to a hospital. They are very human, like any one of us. I've never felt scared. I've never felt afraid. And maybe it's my energy with them, but I tend to look past their circumstances. And usually they are feeling vulnerable because when they're seeing, a medical provider, they're in a very vulnerable state. They just want to feel better or they like the opportunity being outside of the walls. So anyway, so far, I would say my experiences have always been good. It's just fascinating to me, and I find it very interesting engaging with people that are very different than myself.
Yeah, and I think you've passed that on to Miriam because Miriam did.
Really?
No, she did a documentary
Yeah.
for one of her film classes, and she did a documentary where she followed the Durham Police Department because they have an
Right.
intervention. And it's actually pretty cool, where they go and they actually have a dedicated officer, and he's, I think with all the negative news in regards to, because you have some bad cops, but there are a lot of good officers out there, men and women who are serving, that they don't get the recognition or even the notice. It's always,
Right.
and it's like everything else. It's always the bad people that just make it for everyone else.
Right.
But he would go out and he would actually check up on the homeless, where they are, because they're also vulnerable to violence. Because you think about
Absolutely.
it, when
Especially
they get
the women and
yeah,
the children.
when they get assaulted and stuff, who are they going to go to? People discount them. They're the unseen, And so when you think about, also of faith and stuff, as Christ said, what you do to least, you do to me. So that's the same thing, and I think so much.
Which means what?
Well, how you treat those that are the lowest, of the least, in society's eyes, because in God's eyes, we are all the same.
Right.
We have all sinned, so we're all equivalent. But in society, we pick the winners and losers. We, especially in a capitalist society, where our first evaluation is money, how much you have, what is your status,
Right.
or in some societies, what's your caste or what's your family, where you come from. and anyone else is that's this type of valuation, and so that's where the statement is that to the least. So just because someone like a woman, a child, elderly,
Right.
whatever, everyone has value. And that's really
Absolutely.
that, and that's what it is. And so, yeah,
Now, have you always felt this way? Like, was there ever a time in your life where you felt undervalued in society?
where I feel undervalued.
Yeah,
I,
maybe in your youth.
well, of course, because when society sits there and judges you by what you wear, like I said, when I was very young, my father passed away, and then we had some very tough times, just trying to put food on the table. And, my mother did everything to keep the house, to not lose the home. And so she was working and hustling. And, so we basically had to raise ourselves for a short period of time.
Right.
And, and those things. And so, kids can be very cruel. Society can be very cruel. Again, anti-Asian racism in California is very bad.
Even back then, I mean, I know there
It's-
definitely
absolutely.
been episodes
No,
of
huge.
more recent.
Yeah,
but
no,
even
this
back
is
then,
in the 70s.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, come on. In the 70s, people yell gook, slant, slope. We're just coming out of the Vietnam War. You have an accent. I mean, come on, people. That's what I'm saying. When you see it now, I'm like, all it is just the same, more of the same. It's just that some people feel more empowered.
right, right.
But it's like it didn't go away. It's just, and then
Right.
now, in some places they're even trying to come back stronger, like
Right.
marching in Virginia and so forth.
Right.
But no, in California it was just as
Dancing Leaf. Hi, Dancing Leaf. You can do a health fair kind of thing in the prison, possibly. There are health fairs that cater to the street people. Check your city to see what's available. Right. True, true, true. And then Miss Jennifer Ashby Okoli, hello. She says, good evening, my beautiful family and friends. Good evening. And Dr. Floss Play says, hello. So glad to be joining from Tokyo, Japan. Yay, all the way from Tokyo. I wonder what time it is there. What time is it in Tokyo?
bad. I have no idea.
I'm waiting for her to
Maybe
answer.
it might be morning. It might be just morning.
Would you like to go to Tokyo?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to go to
absolutely.
Tokyo.
Yeah. So,
I'd like to go to Tokyo. I'd like to go to Korea. I'm not too sure about China. I've said that before. I'm not too sure about China, and because I don't like how they're doing with Africa and taking over all of Africa's land or much of Africa's land and resources. I don't like that. And the fact that their country is extremely polluted, which again, that's what drives them trying to take over the continent. But anyway, I'd like to go to Tokyo. I'd like to go to Korea. I'd like to go to Spain, Italy. Yeah, Dr. Floss says, so glad to be joining from Tokyo. Oh, she said, oh, she didn't answer. That was somebody else.
Oh,
Oh, it's 7:57
So it's
in the morning.
That's what I
oh,
thought.
wow, it's in the
Yeah.
morning.
Just starting her day. Or his day.
Wow, okay.
Oh, her day, yeah.
Okay,
That's close.
great. And then Ms. Shake says, first time joining a live, Jamaica in the house. Whoop, whoop, Jamaica in the house, of course. We everywhere. We're just like Nigerians. We're everywhere.
That's true. That's true.
You can't go anywhere and not see a Jamaican
I thought,
or a Nigerian.
like, I think you had a relative in Alaska at one point.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had relatives everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
I remember, like, during training, it was always like, okay, where's Habiba going next? Or what state do I want to go to school or work? And I remember, like, one time considering Alaska, and my grandfather, when he was still alive, he would be like, oh, yeah, we have a cousin up in Alaska. I'm like, Grandpa, we have cousins everywhere.
All I know is that for Jamaican to be in Alaska is either he has or she has a really
They
great
got
job
lost.
or they got lost. That's right. Right. They took a boat and it didn't go where they were supposed to go.
Right, Alaska,
It went a little too north.
it's still very cold, right? But then
Oh.
it can be hot in the summer, right? I hear.
Yeah, it's warm, but the summer's very short. I mean, when I was up there, it was short. It was a short
Wow.
summer. Yeah, that's one thing. It's a short summer,
Yeah.
depending about how far. But yeah, it's. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but it's yeah, it gets a little lonely. But yeah, Dr. Flo, I hope you're gonna have a wonderful day. Actually, it's Saturday. Would it be?
Yeah, it'd be Saturday
Yeah,
morning,
so you're not.
right?
Hopefully, you're not
Tokyo.
working. But yeah, it's wonderful. The Nigerian doctor living in Tokyo.
Wow,
doing great things. Absolutely.
I bet the food is interesting there. I mean, of course, we have food
Yeah.
out here, but I'm sure there it's clearly more authentic and beautiful. And I wonder how expensive it is compared to
So
the
Tokyo is very
US.
expensive. No, Tokyo is one of the
Yeah.
most expensive cities.
More than New York, you think?
They're up there. They're really up there. Yeah, yeah. So and then and have a great night, R. Hogan. Signing off. So
Okay.
yeah.
Another
Yeah.
place I would like to go is Dubai. What do people think about Dubai? I know a lot of Africans have gone to Dubai because maybe it's, I don't know if the flights are closer or more accessible, or maybe they market to Africans. I'm not sure. But I have like mixed feelings about Dubai.
I'm not big.
I mean, you know, it's a beautiful place, and, you know, if you're into technology, I was told, everything that is new and advanced is in Dubai. But I also have mixed feelings about the people that have built Dubai, you know, in terms of all the, what I want to call slave labor. But someone told me that, you know, it's not like that for most people, and that if you really think about it, people are literally dying to go to Dubai to work. They know what they're about to get into, but they still want to go. Like all the Filipinos, all the Indians, all the, you know, dark-skinned people from ethnic world countries that want to still go despite all that they hear. So obviously,
Yeah, but
there's
that's
got to
not-
be something
but
out
that-
there for them.
Well, yeah, it's called a job. I mean, that's not
Right.
a good argument. I mean, because again, the whole
Why
point is
isn't
that
it? If you know that maybe the working conditions are not great, but it's still better than where you're coming
not
from.
everyone knows. There's an assumption like they know. Do you think Dubai puts out there, say like, hey, we need workers. We're just going to let you know that our laws don't favor you, but still come. They don't do that. What they do is just come. And the thing is that the laws don't support the workers' rights. That's really the bottom line. The laws are there to support a very narrow class of individuals. I don't want to get into it because Dubai is Dubai. They do whatever they want to do. You know, to me, it's just like
So
whatever.
if we get a ticket now to go to Dubai, you're not going?
No.
Yeah, don't even front.
I'm
boo.
telling you, you just asked me a question. I said no.
Don't dig yourself into a hole
I-
like that.
What hole? I'm not going. I mean, it's not on my top list. I would.
No, it may not be on your top list.
It's
but
not
you
even in the
tell
middle
me
of my
you
list.
want to go to Dubai.
It's not even in the middle of my list. I mean,
Right.
it's just not something I wanted. I just don't. And to me, it's just like
Is
sometimes.
it for that reason alone because
There's
of
a
the,
pro-
I guess,
Oh.
working conditions for the poor? Is that the issue?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. But that's good enough reason. But look, to be honest with you, I have a lot of different reasons. One, to me, it almost becomes like a cliche. Just like when people sit there and they do all these Instagram posts and stuff, it's sort of like at a certain point, it gets to be like, am I going because really I have an interest to go? Or is it because it's just the place to say I went there? And I'm like, I don't, I'd rather go someplace like, you know what, like I would like to go to like Rome. Because I want to see the history, or Greece. Because I want to see that, or if I want to go
That sounds
someplace.
like some white people stuff.
Well, yeah, because it is. I didn't
I
say
don't
it
wanna
isn't,
go.
but it's not necessarily. Yeah, but see, the thing is that
I'm
but see,
just
for me,
joking.
from a
but that's
from a
de-
Western
Right.
humanistic education perspective, you know, again, it's just like something that is interested in. Different than going to England or to
Now,
Great
would
Britain.
you say, is it because culturally,
Because of the
if
castles?
you live in America or were raised in America, you've been sort of taught to believe that, that's where Western civilization started and it's somewhere you should aspire to go? Because, if you think about literature and all the things that American kids learn, I'm sure, yeah, places like Rome would be one of those places you would aspire to go. But places like Dubai are not mentioned in American, classrooms. They're just not. Or
Well,
the
be-
Middle East, it's just not mentioned in a
Well-
favorable light. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
For me,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
No, it's because also I'd like to go to Constantinople. I mean,
See,
I
those
like
are
to go
places, yeah, I wouldn't
Turkey.
have thought about.
No, I would like to, because that's also part of the great trade route,
Okay.
Definitely I would like to go to Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia.
And that comes from a cultural place, right?
Well, no, it's also from historic,
Right. I mean, you know what I
perspective.
mean? Like in America, honestly, places like Vietnam and Thailand, it's not necessarily like up there. People are encouraged to go. I mean, nowadays, maybe more and more because Vietnam does their own, marketing and stuff.
No, but see, this is the thing. Americans in general don't go anywhere. that's really
Okay.
the thing, is because they're
Right.
taught they're taught American exceptionalism. We are the best. We have everything, and that's not accurate.
Right.
We have stuff. Other places have stuff. Everyone
Right.
has different stuff. I
Right.
mean,
It's
some
just
things are
different.
good. It's just
Right.
different, and that's the thing. And
Not
I think that's what
necessarily
it's
better,
not
just
the only one.
different.
So a lot of people don't. But if you travel the world, you start again. That's part of the education. That's why also there's that fear and of immigrants, because you don't understand. But when
Right.
you start meeting people, it's just different, and everyone has different perspectives. So I think that's why there's some hope with younger people, especially with social media. The positive side is that they can kind of see it.
Right.
The negative side is that you have a lot of haters that also now have a platform to share that bigotry. See, so it's like both sides,
Right. Right.
But no, I mean, there's a lot of places I like to travel for a variety of different reasons. Spain, again for various cultural reasons. And but some places I don't really
Okay.
have
Let
an
me hear
interest.
like two more places that you absolutely not interested in going.
That I'm absolutely not interested
Yeah,
in
not
going.
interested in going.
China's probably one, but that's a huge country. But that's just never been really on top of my list. That's funny,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Considering
Other than
considering
China.
that your mom would call me a Chinaman, but
To the West Indians out there, you know how Caribbean people refer to pretty much anyone that looks Asian as Chinaman. And yeah, when we were younger, Kenton used to take, total offense to that. But I know my mother didn't mean anything by it. That was just a cultural thing. You hear it even in Jamaica.
yeah,
People,
yeah.
Chinaman.
Yeah, because she'd be like, "What? What did I say?
I know. She would look at him like, I don't know why he
Why
looks
is he,
offended.
why he's offended?"
And I'd be like, Mommy, not every Asian person is Chinese, okay?
Exactly right. Exactly. So I mean, yeah. So
All right.
anyways.
Other than China, where else you don't want to go?
I mean, I don't want to go. I don't really have an interest in. But
Right.
yeah, China.
That maybe a lot of people do.
Yeah, I really don't have an interest in
Going
going
where?
to China.
Okay, you already said China. Where else?
Well, they're pretty big, so I think they fill a lot.
Okay, where else?
I don't. I mean, where else?
All
Where
right,
else
let's
is there?
give you Libya.
Why would I want to go there?
So, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but that's like you're picking like that's like that's like
Okay.
it's like Syria and all
Right.
those.
Well,
Why?
people go to Syria too.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure, there's
I mean,
some Syrian Americans here.
sure,
that travel to
absolutely.
Syria.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm talking about me.
Right, okay.
I'm not saying no, don't go there.
All
It's
right.
like, hey,
so
you want
where
to go?
else you
go.
don't want to go?
I just told you that's
Syria is one. Libya is another.
Iraq is just
Iraq. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I guess in general, those are definitely places I've never thought about going to.
No, they have some challenges. It has nothing to do with the people. It's just that the environment is not conducive.
Right, right.
In general to travel per se right now,
Mhm.
unless you have a very specific purpose.
Right.
Like work. I mean, if it's work and stuff, but
Mhm.
just to go there, just to go there. But
Right. And you know what? Right now, every time I go through, even right now, I'll be honest and say Nigeria. Not that I don't want to ever go, but I'll be honest. Right now, every time I look at the news, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not good. And I've had family tell me like, "Oh, things are fine, things are going to be okay," but it's like if it's not a bombing, it's a kidnapping. It's terrorism in one form or the other.
Yeah,
So I'll be honest, that's why I have not been or can't make plans, because every time I think about it, I get anxious. And I know though, in general, like where my father lives in Abuja, there's less of that. But it's like you gotta get to Abuja. You gotta get there. And there are parts of Nigeria like Sokoto that I wanted to visit if I were to actually go. And I hear there's some crazy stuff going on in the north.
well, I mean, there's crazy stuff
and I
all
wish
over,
it
right?
were- the crazy stuff
No,
all
I,
over,
it's
true.
it's like
But it's a little different than what
yeah,
I'm accustomed to. Let's
oh, of
put
course,
it that
of
way.
course. And like Crystal Lorraine asked, like Finland. I mean,
Finland sounds
Denmark,
a good
Norway.
place to go.
Yeah, no.
Right?
All those, those are some countries that you don't even think about either. That
Right.
You know, again, it just depends on, you know, like if you really like winter or if you
I
like,
don't.
you know, but summertime's beautiful over there. Yeah, you know, Iceland. You know, Iceland's an interesting
Yeah,
place.
Iceland. I watch a girl on YouTube who lives in Iceland, and it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
Iceland's not, you know, Iceland's not bad. Or New Zealand.
Right.
You know,
Right,
you
but
know,
I think
'cause,
of warmer weather in New Zealand.
yeah,
than I do
yeah, you know,
Iceland.
but no, those are some really fantastic spots that you don't think about. And I think
Right.
they had it. They one time they had a direct flight from here to Iceland, but
Really?
that the airline, like, either went belly up because of the pandemic, like
Yeah.
6 months, and they
Right.
stopped.
You know what's sad though? We keep saying all these places we want to go. In reality, I feel like most people are gonna die and only talked about where they want to go. They didn't actually go. I think that's kind of sad, but I think that's the reality. It's like you really have to kind of push yourself
To
sometimes
prioritize,
past
yeah. No,
your
you have to
comfort zones
and not
and
wait
your
until
priorities and
you're
not wait-
retired.
Right, not wait till you're retired or something horrible has happened to you and you realize, I mean, we all have a finite time to live on this planet, but you know, it's so interesting to me how people make these grandiose ideas when they realize they have, you know, 6 months to live or something because of some horrible medical condition.
Yeah.
So I just wish, I wish more for us.
Well, for everyone,
Us as in
yeah,
Kenton and
yeah.
Habiba, but all of us that are watching, you know.
Take that opportunity. Sometimes also, if you're afraid, just like Dr. Flo that's in Tokyo, I mean, it'd be interesting.
huge
It's like
risk
that's
that she took,
well,
I'm sure.
but you know, but that's the thing. It's like what a change, you
A
know.
leap.
Yeah, it's a leap because again, you're not going to see a lot of you know, expats and stuff like that, especially
Right.
Africans and African Americans over there.
Right.
So, but that's the thing. It's sometimes it's like it's doing that. It's being willing to sometimes to be able to do that. But again, like you said, if you make that decision, you make that determination, yeah, you should do it. Get that chance.
Right.
You know.
So I'm going to Dubai with Kenton or without Kenton. I'm going to Dubai one of these days.
Well, you know, have at it.
And I think it is important to have, you know, at some point in your life to have some sort of solo travel. Married or not, you definitely should have time to have some sort of exploration without your partner. You know, it's great to do things together, but you need to also sometimes look back and just remember who you are.
That's right.
Y'all don't have to do everything together.
That's right. I totally agree. I agree 125%. You don't have to do
Yeah.
everything together. You don't have to go to the bathroom together. You know, what? You don't have to.
Do we go to the bathroom together, Kenton?
No, that's why we have a healthy relationship. We separate things. You know.
Right, right.
But yeah, I support that. So you go to Dubai,
Okay.
and you know I'll go and
Where are you going?
I don't know. I'll go to Thailand. I'll go to.
I like Thailand, so if you're going to Thailand, I'm going to Thailand.
Why?
too.
Why are you going with me?
I
go
want you to
with-
pick somewhere I don't want to go.
Oh, someplace
somewhere
cold.
cold.
Oh, okay. Norway, Finland's a good one.
Yeah,
You know, Denmark.
Mm.
Do that. See the Vikings.
yeah, do
Support
that.
all that.
You go see the Vikings.
Ireland. I really like to go to Ireland.
Hey, I got a cousin in Ireland. I really do have a cousin in Ireland, but he's not Caribbean. That's my Nigerian side. My cousin Mazam Ibrahim Tanao, he's in Ireland. He's a surgeon there. Shout out
Yes.
to
Hey.
him
Hey. How
and
you
his
doing?
wife.
Yep. Yeah.
And their family. They have
Yeah.
a large family
Yeah.
now.
You also have family, and also Sammy and
In England?
Uncle Sammy. You know, Grandpa's brother, his wife Nina, and
Right. They're in England.
yeah, they're in England. That's what I'm
Right,
saying. So
right,
you have
right.
in England. So
Well, yeah, I know. I totally have a lot of family in England. I was born there.
yeah, so I would go there.
That's where my mom was raised.
Right. Right.
So what? You're going there too?
Yeah, I'm going everywhere. You can go to Dubai, and I'm going to go everywhere else. You know, it's a world food tour. That's what I would do.
Oh, I would love to go on a world food
Well,
tour.
I hope you enjoy it.
Both of us are going on that world food tour.
Yeah, I thought
Let
you
me
said
see.
travel alone. That's what
No,
you said.
I said at least one time.
Yeah,
At least one time. You
exactly.
see how he is,
one
you guys?
time.
Just see it.
One time.
You don't want me to go anywhere
No,
by myself.
I agree with you. No, one time for
Right.
me, but it'll be a 365-day
Uh-huh.
trip. That's how it's going to work.
You see?
You just said one
Leaf
time.
says, but not everyone have the resources
That's right.
to do extensive traveling, and not everyone feels the compulsion to travel and feel they are missing something if they don't. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I'm gonna, before I go, the resources, that's definitely a given.
Yeah.
That not everyone has those resources to travel. But I will say, I find that, yeah, interesting how some people don't have that compulsion to travel or feel like they're missing, that they're missing something.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I feel like it's completely unnatural for me not to want to go see the rest of the world.
Sure, sure.
Like, I just feel like that's so unnatural. Why wouldn't I want to know what other people live like? And,
Yeah, but see, with you
What?
is that you want to see how other people that, like the few times like when we went to Mexico, you wanted to go like in the Mexican like hood, and
yeah,
it was
because I want to see how the real
and it
people
was
live.
it's very dangerous. It's like we were going there, and
Yeah,
I was just
sometimes
like,
you got to have common sense too. But my point is, I don't want to go to a country and just sit in some fancy European style resort.
oh yeah,
That's
I agree
not
with you.
seeing the country.
No, I agree with you.
You got to go to where the locals are
absolutely,
and
yeah.
eat their food and see how they live.
Oh, absolutely, I
Or
agree
else,
with
to
that.
me, what's the point? Which is why I'm not really
Yeah.
that keen on cruise ships either.
Yeah, cruise ships.
Even
no.
before the pandemic and the health safety thing, I just felt like you go on a cruise ship, I guess if you like the experience of being on a cruise ship with all the, fun experiences they put on the cruise ship, but you're not really getting a chance to experience the countries in depth.
No,
It's like,
Well,
go here, stop here, go here,
yeah,
stop
you're
here.
in a tourist spot, so
Right.
you go in, and then they got all the little quiche little like
Right.
stands, and you do that, and then you got like 6 hours, and then now you're back on the boat.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's just too much for me
Yeah.
in terms of
it's just like even when we go,
running up
like,
and down.
like when we went to Ocho Rios, even though we stayed there. We
Right.
left and went into town and stuff,
Right,
and we
right.
didn't hang out
Right.
at or even Dominican Republic. You had the resort, but we always wanted to go into, where the
Right.
locals are, because we didn't want to go to where the tourists,
Right.
especially shops and stuff. Like I would rather go to the open air market. That would be
Right.
my favorite thing, to just see where people actually shop and get their food and stuff like that,
Right.
and talk to people.
Right.
What's your day? What's your life like?
Exactly.
To me, that's more interesting than just
Right, experiencing the
buying
country,
stuff.
someone says. But yeah, in terms of resources, when I think about it, I think it depends on the person. Because I've seen, it depends on how luxurious you want that experience to be. I mean, there are people who travel, and of course it depends on the country, with absolutely minimum finances. It's
So-
just about getting there,
Right.
and then they backpack. But
Yeah.
of course, that's
Would
not
you
for
backpack?
everyone.
But would you backpack?
It depends on the country, It depends. I'm not really one for roughing it, if I'm completely honest. I want some luxurious spaces and a nice bed.
Okay, see,
you
those
know.
things don't.
But
they're
I'm
not
just saying that
compatible.
I know that there are people who do travel
Yeah.
with the bare minimum, and that works for them. And of course, it depends on the country. Some countries you get there, it's not expensive, once you get there to actually buy food or
Oh, yeah.
accommodations. Whereas other countries, yeah, food is expensive, accommodations is
Sure,
expensive,
yeah.
the ticket is expensive, and so it becomes not really realistic for most people.
Yeah. So yeah, and sometimes also, if you know that if you're an active traveler,
Right.
meaning that all you need is a place to lay your head. You're
Right.
not going to spend your day in the hotel.
Mm.
So then for you, if like a youth hostel is
Right.
fine. You don't
Basics.
mind. Yeah, the basic. You don't mind sharing a room and stuff like that. If you're a modest person.
I think as a couple, I would not want to be sharing spaces with people. But if I were by myself, if I'm by myself,
Yeah.
then I'm totally fine, because then I want to interact. I want the camaraderie. I want to learn about a new person. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm listening. That's all I'm doing. I'm listening.
But
I'm
yeah,
just
if
like,
we were as a couple, no, I don't want to be in the room with a bed with another couple or something like that. But alone, yeah, I kind of like the experience. So I want the adventure.
So when I travel alone,
Uh-huh.
it's okay for me to share a room with somebody else?
Yes, if you want to, with a
All right.
man.
What?
No, with a man,
What?
not with a woman, obviously.
What? Wait, why are you putting boundaries? How about you?
Just like me, if I'm saying with another person, I'm assuming it's a female or a gay man. How about that?
Okay, that works.
Right. I'm not assuming that it's a straight man. I'm assuming it's a gay
I
man
just
or another female. That's what I mean.
oh, it's so goofy.
Yeah, we goofy, all right. Let me see. F Doctor says, I am not traveling or living abroad just to struggle. I can do that here in the States.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, nothing's worse than struggling in another country.
Right.
That would suck.
Well, but we're not talking about moving.
No,
You
no,
know, we're
but
just talking
no,
about
but if you're going to
traveling.
travel
Oh.
and then you run out of money,
Right, roughing it.
really roughing it.
No,
I mean that
no,
makes
no,
sense
no.
because
Yeah.
again, you're think about it. I mean, you know, again, you spend so much of your time working,
Right.
and it's just like sometimes you just feel like you're just paying bills and you want to just get away. But you know, to be honest, again, talking about, you know, sometimes when you travel, you even take a vacation, when you get back to work,
You need a vacation
Yeah.
from the vacation.
well, that's if you had a good vacation. But no,
Right.
sometimes it's like being punished because when you get back to work, your work has piled up. It's
Right.
almost like now you got to work twice as hard just to clear away,
Right,
you know, the mere 2 weeks.
right,
I mean, I think sometimes that's what happens.
that sucks,
you're in
that
this
part.
this hamster wheel
Right.
of like, just like living for the weekend.
right.
It's like you go through the week, but you know, I don't know. And I think that's part of it too. Is that we're starting to have more realization of, especially with the pandemic, that like you say, life is so brief
Right.
that it's like, how do I get more value from it? I mean, you have to work, so and you have to make a living. So it's just like that's a gift. Because also part of it too, if you're fortunate to work in something that you value
Right.
or that you identify with, so it's important that you have that. But at the same time, you know, you work to live, but you don't live to work. So it's like
Sure.
that balancing, you know?
Sure.
And so I think the pandemic also brought it up where it's like, you know, you don't know when your time is going to come. So it's like, well, hey, I'm working all this stuff.
Right.
You know, there's another saying is like, you know, when your final day is here, when you look at your tombstone, you have your birthday and your death date, but all the most important things are the dash. It's what you've done in between that, you know? And so don't
Hey,
wait.
Ken, you know what? Nobody's called us. Nobody called us. So maybe this phone number thing isn't a good idea. I don't
No,
know.
I had a call last time when I was. You know, maybe you're intimidating people.
Maybe I should leave, right? I should leave, and then people will call you.
So I don't know. I
What
mean,
do you want them
well,
to call
no,
you for?
but I
First
think
of all,
what
tell
it
them,
is
what do you
that's what
want
it
them
is.
to call
I
you
mean, it's
for?
me, it's you.
Yeah. What do you want them to call you for?
Well, I mean, if someone has a question, or if if you are looking for advice,
Advice on.
anything, it's free. No, I mean, if you have a provocative question, we'll try our best. Again, you get what you pay for, right? So it's free. So, no,
Right.
but seriously, but
Send
no.
us some ridiculous question.
Yeah, yeah,
or
because,
call.
no, but see, the whole thing is like, look, we have to, learn from each other and stuff like that. So, I mean, last caller was from England. He had some very good, and it's just a comment too. He shared a comment and some thoughts, about stuff. And just like the same way people are putting great comments and chats
Right.
about it. But, yeah, it's like trying. And even then, like someone wrote, you can just even travel within the states, because again, and wherever you are, some places are so big that you just have to go to the next either district or region or state
Right.
to just experience something different.
Right, absolutely. It's amazing what you'll find in your own backyard.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I was thinking maybe tomorrow, if we get a chance, we want to try that Laotian food truck. Remember? There was the
Yes.
Laotian food truck.
Yeah.
I
You-
met someone.
You can try calling on WhatsApp because it's a phone number, so try and
really?
see.
Will it work?
Well, it's a phone number, so I don't see why
Okay,
not.
that's
You
interesting.
can try that.
That's
And
interesting.
again, it's a 800 number, so.
Right. Someone says, me, myself, this is Dancing Leaf, says, I'm not staying in a hostel sharing a room.
Well, it's true, and again, it's also, when it comes to like roughing it, it's like toiletry. I mean, it's
Right.
like, that's the other thing too. It's like, running water and
We're
sharing
so
a
spoiled
toilet.
in the U.S. That's what I think. We're so
Well-
spoiled here. See, that's the thing. I constantly tap into the fact that I lived in Africa where I've seen, like, people live on the bare minimum. So I constantly like to remind myself that we don't need all this stuff. We really don't need all this stuff. It makes life more comfortable, but we actually don't need a lot of stuff to survive.
What about internet?
We don't need internet. In fact, even, internet is a curse sometimes. You know how
Right.
much time we waste on the internet? Yes, I need it to do my job, but if I'm not doing my job, then I don't need the internet. Sometimes
Man,
you
you-
need a break from that.
You are a big talker.
No, I'm not.
You're on that phone. That phone is
That's
almost
what I
surgically
said.
implanted
if,
to you.
If I am not working, I do a lot
So
on
you're
my phone.
so
but
you're working all the time then.
no, sometimes it's entertaining. But if you put me somewhere else where they did not have internet, I would totally
that-
find ways to
well,
entertain myself.
Yeah, you would.
Right?
Yeah, you would.
I would.
And I would have to bail you out. That's how that works. You're always trying to find
Anyways.
some. But that's that's a good point. But that's why the retreat is a
Retreat,
good
right.
idea. Like with you said, like with the nunnery. Like in the UK, they have it there. That's what one of our viewers, community members said. You
So
know.
you're gonna find a nunnery for me to go to.
Yeah, so I can, because I always want to say, get thee to a nunnery, woman.
Let me see. Night out with a prostitute, nunnery. Let me see. Which one do I want to do? Strip club, strip club, prostitutes, nunnery. Which one do I want to do? Which one would be more fun?
Nunnery. Because you can commune, find peace.
I'm at peace. I'm at peace right now.
Yeah, that's why
I'm at peace.
I'm always looking stressed.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
at peace.
All right, that's fair enough. So,
So I don't know. Did you try that WhatsApp thing?
yeah, but yeah, no, exactly. I mean, so yeah, travel is important, but the most important thing is to cultivate that mindset. So even if you don't have it, when the opportunity comes, take it. Yeah. So another thing too is that people don't think of. Sometimes when you do vacations, there's one thing I've always wanted to do is it's like a missionary type of vacation, where instead of going and just traveling and just looking at places, but going out and like build a church or build a well or some sort of.
Well, they always have a lot of like groups, Facebook
Yeah.
groups or organizations.
I would like
you
to be
can
able to do
find.
that.
All right, so do it.
Yeah, after I go see some prostitutes and stuff like that.
Hey, if you want to do that too, if that's on your bucket list,
No, it's not.
You have my full permission to do that.
Nope.
That's on your bucket list.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Nope,
Have you ever been into a brothel before, Kenton?
not knowingly.
What does that mean, not knowingly?
That's
How
just
these conversations go? Where does that mean, not knowingly?
I did not know.
You did not know that you were going into a brothel.
No, I did not know.
You did not know.
I was in the service and I didn't know.
Y'all hear this? You see? This is how you trap your husband. Just come out with a question out of the blue that he's not expecting.
And I answered it. I did not know.
You did not know. You went with who?
With some of my service buddies,
Uh-huh. How old were you?
old enough to not know.
You're stupid. You were old enough to know that you were going
No,
to a
I
brothel.
did not know. I did not know. I did not know that that's what it was. So we were just
Where were you?
Juarez
Where's Juarez?
in Mexico.
Oh, you were out in Mexico. Going to a brothel.
No. We were trying to find some place to eat.
I bet you were finding somewhere to eat.
We were trying. Yeah, it just so happened that it just wasn't the place to eat.
So how was that? How old were you?
I told you, old enough not to know.
How old were you?
How old when I met you?
19.
I was
20?
19? No.
Yeah, you were 19.
20.
19, you were going 20.
Yeah, going 20, but
Okay.
right?
All right.
Okay, so
So what?
before you,
Uh.
I was 12. I joined the service early.
Kenton, that's disgusting and that's not true.
What? I joined the service early?
No, that you were no 12. Oh, see, now you're scratching your head, right? Scratching out. Well, I hope you had
Anyways,
a good time. I
First
hope
of
you
all,
had a good time anyway.
No, I mean, it's an experience. So you just don't.
And you think every guy should go through that?
Why is it every guy?
I'm just wondering.
No, of course not.
Uh-huh.
Not knowingly.
Yeah, and do your sons know?
No. but they're gonna know now because it's on
Yeah.
it's on the thing. So we'll delete this. So we'll.
Wait, delete it, y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna delete
yeah, we're
this.
gonna delete this.
Oh man. Oh yes. In regards to yes, our dean suddenly passed
On
away.
a serious note, even though that last thing was serious, because you really did that, right?
What?
The brothel.
Are we back on that?
No, but I'm saying that on a serious note, this is about your law school now, your dean. Even though the last issue was real. Ooh, something wrong with you?
I don't. So, go ahead. So, what are you saying?
Something about your dean.
Anyways, our dean passed away.
See
That's
how you
what
go
it is.
from laughing to.
Yeah, I know. No, it's serious. So yeah,
that's
unfortunately,
horrible.
she passed away last week. She was at a conference. So yes, and we are having a service for her on the 21st, I believe. So in Durham, and then she's actually from Louisiana, and so she will also be laid to rest, I believe, out there. And a
But we
week
don't
later.
know what caused her to pass, right?
Not that I know of, no.
Right,
But
right.
yes, she was only 2 years in her tenure, but she did great things for our school in that short period of time. And she was a great advocate, especially social justice, and also she was for health, especially
Right.
with this health disparity with marginalized communities.
Let me see what Danny B says. Hello, Kenton and Habiba. I enjoy a live chat regarding how race, ethnicity, finances impact access to health care. I'm in an interracial marriage. I'm African American and my husband is Latino.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a completely different subject. Maybe we'll do that next time, or you want to bring on that?
What? Why is that a different subject? It's just,
I guess she says I'm right. I enjoy live chat regarding how race, ethnicity, and finances impact access to healthcare.
That's
yeah, that's
right.
a completely different.
Oh yeah, that can be another subject
yeah.
because that's about technically that's about intersectionality,
Right.
and
Then Miss Crystal Lorraine says my son is a globe trotter. I visit him in India. Oh, that's so nice. What an experience. Grateful to live in the States. Ooh-wee. That's what she said. Yeah, that's awesome. Jennifer says the same thing happened to my husband in my country. He came out that place so fast. I was trying to tell him before he went in, but he found out.
See?
Oh, I guess the brothel thing.
see, it happens. You don't know. You walk in, you're thinking like you're just trying to order a beer, and surprise, surprise. But see, he walked right out.
Surprise.
That's what
Some
happened.
booty just came out on you.
What? No, it does. Well, no.
Right. Leslie Vitalis says, tried calling, it didn't work. Got a voicemail.
Oh, really?
Okay,
It
there
didn't
you
ring.
go. Gigi
So
says, may she rest in peace. This is regarding your dean. Jennifer said, condolences to her family and students. May she rest in peace, or may her soul rest in peace. Siri, sorry to hear. The thoughts and prayers go out to the family. Yep. May the dean rest in peace. Right. No,
Yeah. No, it's
crazy
so
how, again,
that
short
thing.
life is.
Yeah.
1 minute you're traveling. Now, again, we don't know anything about what caused her death, but as a medical provider or as a physician trained, my first thought usually when I think of someone who has traveled and suddenly comes up dead and is, a middle-aged woman, first thing I always think about is blood clots. So I don't know if that's on the forefront for most of you, but yeah, a lot of times people die suddenly of pulmonary embolisms after flying. Either they were, they sat for so long in their seats, they were dehydrated, they don't drink because they're thinking they don't want the inconvenience of going to the bathroom. So maybe they were dehydrated before, maybe they're on medication that encourage blood clotting, but a lot of times you will hear people suddenly die, and that's because they had a sudden pulmonary embolism. So that's one thought. And then, of course, you think about heart disease. The person could have had a heart attack. And then for those of us that live in the U.S., one thing that also always comes to mind is drugs or some sort of illicit drugs. Now, I assume this woman was a dean, a well-respected woman. I certainly hope that was not the case, drugs. But, we live in the U.S. and drug use and drug abuse is very rampant, even among people you would least suspect. So, I don't know. When people die, that's usually my thought process. It's like I always want to know what did they die of, and what's the probability of it being X, Y, Z, which maybe is a morbid way to live sometimes, but I'm just sharing, I guess. If there's any lesson in any of this, I guess I would say please see your doctors. Many of us haven't gone to see our providers. We have things that are happening in our bodies and we just can't be bothered, or we're fearful to find out the truth. But when it comes to a PE dose, sometimes you think like, God, I guess when your time is up, it's up, because sometimes there's no warning.
Yeah.
With pulmonary embolisms or blood clots in your legs, sometimes there's really no warning. Sometimes it's just behavior that contributed.
So what would you advise? So for example, like if you're flying, because she flew from here all the way to Colorado, so it's
Right.
a long flight. It's
Right,
like
right.
6 hours
Right.
plus if you have a connection.
Right.
I mean, you could be flying up to, or
Right,
just like if
hours
someone,
sitting in the same
or like
spot.
if you're flying internationally.
Right. Well,
So
my
what's your advice?
advice, and you can look it up for yourself too, is that you should definitely get up from your seat, even when you're driving. I always insist that at no more than 2 hours. After 2 hours, you should get up out of your seat, even if you have nowhere to go. On a plane, I just use the excuse that I want to go to the bathroom, or I just feel like I need to walk down the hall. And usually you're encouraged to stay in your seat. But there's a really high risk of blood clots when you sit for hours on end, in a car, on a train, in a plane especially. So get up. And I think in the past, taking aspirin was definitely recommended. Like you should take an aspirin a few days before and maybe on the day of the trip. I have not read up on that recently, so I don't know if that's still advised. But I know I used to take aspirin like right before my trips. I don't do it on a regular basis, but just, for a trip. But definitely check with your doctor. Don't take my advice on that. But definitely the idea of please don't sit for long without getting up. I always also think back at my patient. They were like this really cute couple. They lived in New York, but they had moved to North Carolina. And our clinic happened to be open on the weekend. And she came with her husband, and they insisted that they wanted to be seen because she felt like her leg was aching. And so we kept the clinic open. She came in with her husband. He was this old guy, and he was looking down because she started to complain that she wanted them to stop. But he was so insistent that we have to get to North Carolina on time, and he didn't want to stop. So they drove straight. And bottom line is, it turned out that her leg was aching, even though her leg did not look bigger than the other. But the fact that she gave me this history of travel, I was like, okay, let's get an ultrasound. And I called the radiologist, and the radiologist gave me a hard time. He was like, oh, is her leg larger than the other? Her leg isn't? Oh, so you're just going by whatever you're going by. I said, yeah, I really feel based on the circumstances, and she's older, I think we should do an ultrasound. And lo and behold, this woman had a major blood clot.
Yeah.
And so she had to be put on blood thinners for several months. Usually if it's your first blood clot, it doesn't mean a lifetime on blood thinners. It's usually up to about 6 months, unless, of course, you've had blood clots before. But anyway, I hate to digress on that. It just was something I feel like
But I think it's
on my mind a lot.
right. But I think that also too it points back to the health disparities. Is that many times
Right, she was a woman of color,
a woman of
course.
color. See again, and it's like many times, as we see, even and it doesn't matter. Money doesn't insulate you, as Beyonce and Serena Williams have
Right.
experienced. Is that historically marginalized communities have experienced where they're discounted in regards to pain, in regards to health issues,
Right.
and it's studied and documented. It's not anecdotal. Just what you experience, what you witness,
Right.
is really more par for the course. And I think maybe on our next show we can actually really dive deep into it, because
Right.
it's interesting, because it's not just talking about disparities, but it's also talking about what the medical community and some of their models, the way they try to address it, one can argue that it doesn't work because, again, it's not addressing the key critical issues of racism and stuff like that.
Right. And Crystal Lorraine says, can we discuss the perks and privileges of those who hold all the power in the U.S.? Conversely, we discuss those who embrace being a victim. Okay, so I guess that would probably
All
be
right.
for next time.
That's next time. Yeah, that's a topic, and absolutely we can go and talk about it. And you know what would be good is that people can call in, so
Right.
because that's where it's actual discussion. Because
Do you see this munchie? A Google user says eating raisins, I heard, helps. Well, I would assume that that is a fake comment because I have never heard such a thing, that eating raisins helps with blood clots. Never in my life have I heard that.
yeah,
So,
I don't know about
anyway.
that. You may have heard it. I hear a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but those are good points, and you know what? That's probably what we can end off on, and then pick up next time, talk about health disparities, and not just talk about them, but what can you do to be your own best advocate for yourself and your loved ones, basically in a system that may make it much more challenging to get that equity. So
Right.
again, we talk about disparity and also about equity, and so those are some of the things that we can talk about as well.
Okay, y'all. I don't know how long we've been on this live chat, but I wasn't looking at my phone. So usually on my phone, I can see the timing. Here on Kenton's setup, I can't tell. So, but I feel like we've been here for quite a long.
Yeah, it's been over an hour, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Actually,
Oh,
you can't
wow.
see the time because it's right here. It's live, almost hour and 21 minutes.
Wow, I think that might be the longest because
Yeah.
we didn't have the time, so we just kept rambling.
Yeah. Well, and we also been engaged too. So
Sure,
again, we
sure,
want to thank
sure.
everyone because great questions and comments and stuff, and also bring out some good points. So we're going to take those ones from Munchie came back.
But she says, thanks for clearing that up. Just something I heard before flying. I guess that was in response to the raisins.
Yeah, that's probably from someone that wanted to
Yep.
buy some raisins.
Yep, nope, never heard that. Can't trust that.
I don't know.
The raisin
yeah,
thing.
I haven't read that in JAMA or anything else like that.
No,
Please
no,
eat
no.
raisins to clear up clots.
Yeah, no.
No.
Or to prevent clots.
Or prevent
No.
clots, yeah, because that would make raisins a blood thinner, right?
Yeah.
If you think about it
Which
logically.
is grapes, sorry, right. And think about how raisins are dry grapes, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
Right. You don't eat grapes and think of your blood getting thinner.
It means that if you ate a whole bunch of grapes and then you accidentally cut your finger,
Right, you would bleed.
you would bleed out
Excessively.
right?
Right, no.
No, yeah. But that's an interesting point, so we appreciate that, Munchie. So
So, hey guys, thank you so much for watching, and definitely look out for a vlog on Sunday. You'll see another glimpse of my mom and Bashir, and I might even have sneaked a peek of Miriam, moody ass Miriam.
yeah. So yeah, and then someone said, again, because it's high in potassium, it says it clears arteries. But again, this is the thing. It's like, how much do you need to consume to make it critical enough to stop a clot?
And potassium, no. Potassium is usually, when you think of,
Oh,
it's
all
different
right.
than vitamin K.
well,
so that's different.
wait.
What?
Dr. Oz recommended it. Okay, folks, that finishes
No.
that.
All right, I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah,
but I'll
but-
just say that's not correct
No.
information. It may or may not have come from Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people get K, potassium mixed with vitamin K, and
Yeah.
they're two different things.
Right.
Vitamin K is related to blood thinning
Right.
or blood clotting. more like.
There you go.
And potassium, I think of more blood pressure regulation, actually.
Right.
So, anyway, Boo, say bye.
Bye. We love you guys, and then again, we'll pick up on talking about health disparities and stuff, and what you can do
Right.
to be an advocate for not only just for yourself, but for your family and loved ones, and for your community.
Yes, sir.
All
So
right.
we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.